Hello, I'll be talking to you about my capstone project titled Changing Students' Writing by Using Blogging Tools. My name is Taylor Beals. I'm a candidate for the Instructional Technology Master's degree at Kennesaw State University. I currently teach 7th grade Advanced Tag Life Science at Sandy Springs Charter Middle School within Fulton County Schools. And this is where my capstone project was completed. So the problem that I was trying to help with was improving student writing skills. The previous school year we had received our information back from the county, and writing was a large push in trying to help our students with their writing skills. So the challenge that I faced was, how do I do this within my science classroom? How do I get students engaged and writing more, and is there a way to incorporate technology along with more writing? So I decided to tackle this problem with including blog style writing within my science classroom. So to get started, I first found a blogging site that was safe and easy to use with my middle school students, which started during the summer and had me researching and looking through different tools that would work best for my students. Then I had to reconstruct a weekly plan to accommodate for more writing. I restructured it in such a way that I would concentrate on writing skills on Fridays. Then I had to work on training and practicing with my students on how to use the blogging system, as well as what the appropriate responses would be and how to avoid negative communication between each other. The plan. I first created one universal writing prompt to be answered at the beginning and the end of the capstone project. This writing prompt was based on students' understanding of life science concepts and would be a general catch-all for that information. From there, I created monthly writing prompts that tie in with the topics covered in class. So for example, during a month-long system, the first week would concentrate on them writing a prompt using the blog. For example, what are the key differences between plant and animal cells? So this is the first topic that we cover. Students would answer this writing prompt on the blog. The second week, we would switch gears a little bit just to kind of give ourselves time, and we would discuss a current event writing, which would have students summarizing current event systems, which I was promoting within my classroom already. The third week, students would respond to each other's original blog post. So that would give me 2 weeks to check in on how they were doing. This would also give me time to reflect on students' writing, as well as to actively monitor and make sure that nothing was going on. And then students would have a chance to respond to each other. And then finally, the fourth week would again be the current event writing. So this system was meant to be continued throughout the capstone project. So the monthly schedule that I have is listed here. So we would start in October because I knew that students would definitely have their one-to-one devices by this time, and we would be deep within our second unit. So again, the writing prompt for this would be, what are the differences between plant and animal cells? November would concentrate on our next topic, which is how would humans benefit if asexual reproduction was possible, and how would it not be beneficial? So students would reflect on what they've learned about asexual and sexual reproduction. December, we would talk about why are Punnett squares used as a tool to help determine offspring characteristics. January is describe a real-world example of how we would use selective breeding. February is use the theory of evolution. How do giraffes today have long necks? March, why are fossils important to the theory of evolution? And then finally, April, if a producer died in the ecosystem food web, make a prediction about what would happen to the tertiary consumer. So these are all topics that we have covered this year, and students were able to reflect on these within their blog. So description. So it went well for the most part. I did run into a couple of barriers. One of the biggest barriers for me was middle school students and using a blogging tool. So middle school students kind of see the blogging tool, I would say, as another way to socially interact with each other. And because they were able to bounce ideas off of each other in class, as well as respond to each other using another, in their mind, social media outlet, I ran into several disciplinary actions that had to be addressed throughout, and so this was a major barrier for me. Are middle school students mature enough to handle this? Did I give them too much opportunity? Did I need to look back and maybe, restructure some things differently when I was introducing how to use it and what is appropriate? So this was a major barrier that I had during this capstone project. Another one is interruptions to the Friday schedule. So Friday was supposed to be designated as a writing day, and for the most part it did work. However, being in a brick and mortar classroom, there are several things that pop up throughout. Testing has to be done on certain days. There were several things that had to be rearranged. My students are also part of a STEAM program at our school, so several times I had to put pause at my own classroom teachings to accommodate the STEAM schedule. So this would sometimes interrupt our Friday schedule of writing. So sometimes we had to move around a little bit and it wasn't as organized as I had originally planned. And another problem that I ran into was, do I take these writing prompts for a grade? So my students are very motivated by grades. They are in an advanced science class, so lots of times they are willing to do the work and willing to do the creative things, but they're always asking, is this going to be taken for a grade? How will this be graded? And my original idea was not to take it for a grade. I wanted them to truly reflect and not have their blogging writing graded. I was expecting to evaluate on a 1 to 4 scale and just kind of get them used to the idea of expressing their thoughts in words and written word online. And by me not taking it for a grade, several students saw this as an opportunity to not do it and to not put as much effort into it. And so that's a problem that I did run into throughout the capstone project. So if I were to do this again, I would change a couple of things. One is the ways that I would actively monitor online. So by teaching middle school students, I would have to be more of an active participant on the online portal just to help with, cyberbullying issues and ways that we reflect on each other's writings in a more positive light. So I would definitely have to be more involved than I had originally thought. Another thing that I would like to do is kind of research more ways to help with students' writing. I'm unsure if just by the act of me doing more writing in the classroom that I was able to help them, or if it truly was blog style writing that really helped them to gain more understanding in their writing skills. So I'd really like to spend more time, maybe in a technology coaching position, really stressing, is it blog style writing, or is it just the act of doing more writing within the classroom? So how is this really going to work? And I would like to look more into research that others have done to truly see what is the key piece here. I would also like to change the mindset approach of blogging, so students can see this as a form of better connecting to the outside world, expanding their thoughts beyond the classroom, and not just as another simple task to do and something else to check off in their box. So really making the connection to real world and really seeing that others can respond, and maybe even expanding it beyond just my students having exposure to it. So those are some things that I would like to change if I were to do this again, and ways to make it a little bit better and a little bit cleaner of a run throughout. So looking back, while I experienced several ups and downs while working through my capstone project with my students, I do see the benefit in using technology to help my students achieve better writing skills. So I am now confident that my students are ready for 8th grade and can write and reflect on each other's written words. So I know that them going into 8th grade, that they are ready to be writing more, they're ready to reflect more. I do think that their scientific writing is going to be a lot better. And, you know, they are starting the science fair project, so I know that their lab reports and reflection pieces through that are going to be better equipped because of what I have done this year. So I can only hope that through this experience, my students were able to see the long-term benefits and the lasting impression they have on their writing skills. So thank you for listening. I appreciate it.